Colonel William Guile, one of the greatest martial artists in the world, travels the global tournament circuit, using it to conceal his top-secret mission as leader of an elite group of international crime fighters known only by their code name, Street Fighter. The heroic man-beast, Blanca, hard-kicking fighting machine, Chun-Li. Team of the most amazing warriors ever seen have joined forces with Guile to combat the criminal empire of Shadaloo and its superhuman leader, Bison. They have their own code of honor, discipline, justice, commitment, and together they will triumph against the forces of evil. Street Fighter!
Hello and welcome to the 63rd episode of Pixels in the Animation. I am one of your hosts, TFG and Mike, and joining me is TV's Mr. Neil.
You hurt my Jessica.
God. Yes. Sadly, there's a final fight episode in this.
That's not the bad part. The bad part is they made Cody sound like an idiot.
Yeah, that's true.
He sounds like Hulk. Cody Smash.
Oh boy. Episode 63 here in Pixels in the Animation. It's the last, it's season 2, part 2 of Street Fighter.
God.
I know, right? So one thing I noticed watching these final 6 episodes, I don't know if it's on the entire series, but I noticed the opening credits a little bit more now because I'm looking for writers and that kind of stuff. And I noticed, at least on these last 6, and it might even be on the whole of Season 2, Roger Slifer was the story editor on this series.
Interesting.
I mean, I just don't know. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. Maybe the guy needed a paycheck or something back then. I'm not sure. But I mean, this is the guy that basically Slifer the Sky Dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is named after.
Everything is lies. Everything is lies. There's so many awesome bad quotes in the last 6 episodes.
Yes.
I wasn't sure which one I was going to do.
Yeah, there are just so... Oh my god. How did this series get...
made? A second season?
Yeah, that, but yeah, seriously, how did it get a second season? Oh my god, 39 episodes. Wow. Yeah, oh man, my head hurts. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. Next time around, when we do the 2 Darkstalkers episodes, you're really going to have to help me out on that because I've never played those games. I've heard of the cartoon, but I've never watched it, know nothing about it. I'm going to try to do as much research as I possibly can, but I'm setting up the script so I know where everything goes and, for the behind the scenes stuff for those episodes when we get to them. And I'm looking on Wikipedia and it's got the Darkstalkers article and whatever else. The only thing they list is the episode titles. They don't even list descriptions. Are the episodes that damn bad that we have to make up our own descriptions?
I guess so. I got some colorful descriptions for those episodes.
Okay, well that'll work then. Alright, yeah, let's jump right into it. Episode 21 of Season 2, The Flame and the Rose. The mystical psychic known as Rose senses that many powers in the world are fluctuating wildly out of control. She blames Ken and Blanca for this sudden energy spike and believes that they are the catalyst to the end of the world. Rose kidnaps them both and forces them to fight against one another, only to realize that they are not evil at all. With their help, she tracks down Bison, who is the true manifestation of evil she had sensed. She then attacks Bison in the mental world just as Ken and Blanca destroy the Kali statue, which destroys Bison's entire castle. Mysteriously, everyone is uninjured, and Bison eludes capture once more. Oh my god. Okay, so This this episode is going to get a little bit of a better grade from me because this really did feel, even though Guile's not there and even though Chun-Li's not there and E Honda's not there and DJ's, none of the other main characters are there, this really almost felt like a series finale to me because it's essentially, holy shit, the end of the world. Mm-hmm. So this really did feel like that. I guess I like that Blanca finally overcomes his rage and deals with all that, and
sort of.
It's just draining. The whole Blanca storyline is just draining. I prefer the happy ending the movie gave him. Sort of happy ending the movie gave him.
I mean, where Shadaloo fell on him and he died with Balsam.
Hey, sometimes, having a character die is not the worst thing in the world.
Mercy killing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't want to. Oh god, I don't want to even get into the whole character death thing because all I can think of is, oh my god, Disney and ABC ruined Avengers because they brought Coulson back for Agents of Shit. Anyway, I do like Rose. I think she's a cool character, even though she's pretty judgmental one way for the most part. She pretty much assumes stuff a lot of the times, which a lot of people do anyway. But yeah, I don't know. What did you like or not like about this one?
I'm pretty nonplussed about this episode. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I don't really know what to say except just make casual comments like her tarot reading really didn't mean anything because at the end she's like maybe the three that I'm looking for are all one and they're just me, or maybe there's some other meaning to this, and it's like, okay, so what you're saying is that none of this meant anything and you don't even know what your cards are telling you.
Yeah. Well, didn't she say that the three cards meant Bison, not? I don't know.
She did, but she gave a couple other possibilities, and in the end, it was none of those because that's not how Bison met his end.
Very true. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Only, like I said, only because it really felt like it could have been a series finale.
I'll give it a 1.5. It was kind of cool that they brought Rose in. Rose is a cool character, and but there were also some derp faces, and there was a big derp face right at the beginning. I'll have to take a screenshot of that.
Oh.
And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. It's just it's a throwaway episode, ultimately.
It kind of is, which is sad. All right, so next up we have episode 22 of season 2, The Warrior King. A powerful warrior king has defended his country from the evil mages for years, but when his orb of power is flung into a vortex, he follows it as well. The orb lands in a nation close to Shadaloo, and Bison claims it as his own. The orb has the power to control all weather, and Bison threatens the world with it. So basically he's turned into Weather Wizard.
Pretty much. Now, where have we seen this orb before? Oh, wait, it was in Mortal Kombat.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually takes place before that episode of Mortal Kombat. And I think all 4 cartoons that featured this character aired on the same day. And it was supposed to be like one long rush of story. But really, the Warrior King isn't really that interesting. He just...
No.
The only thing cool about him is he's Michael Dorn.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the Street Fighter team is assembled. Chun-Li is the first to confront Bison. The Warrior King magically appears and fights Bison's minions with Chun-Li's help. And the two quickly fall in love until the vortex appears and the Warrior King is forced to leave Chun-Li forever. This episode, as you said, was part of a crossover storyline that spanned the other shows in the USA Action Extreme Team lineup. Savage Dragon and Wing Commander Academy. I don't even want to.
No.
No. Those might make it into episode 69, the Battletoads Bad Pilot episode or something.
Yeah, but, we could probably fit them in.
Did you notice the other voice actor in this episode though?
It's been a couple weeks since I've seen it, so I don't remember if there was anyone.
The old wizard that's with the Warrior King.
Mm-hmm.
He's I don't know the guy's name, but he's the voice of Dr. Light from Mega Man.
Oh, okay.
And then, because I take my notes as I watch, the next scene I saw was comb the desert.
We ain't found shit.
And then pretty much the rest of my notes are wowzers that dress from Chun. Like it's the only reason why I'm actually going to give the episode 2 different grades, but that's essentially why.
Wasn't there a point where she starts ripping up the dress because she can't fight in it? She's like, I can't fight in this thing. Rip, rip, rip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, I love whoever wrote this.
Yeah, exactly. And as you already mentioned, the Warrior King is voiced by none other than Worf. Street Fighter Star Trek crossover. Why not? I mean, Star Trek and Green Lantern crossed over, and a few other things crossed over in the comics, so it could happen.
Why not I Am Weasel?
Yeah, that could work too. This episode, at first I thought it was... At first I didn't think it was part of Street Fighter, because we essentially are thrown into the Warrior King's world.
Yeah, it's like, what show am I watching?
Yeah, really. Now, do we know what order these are supposed to, from the 4 shows?
I presume this is the first one, because this is the one that kind of sets him on his journey.
Okay.
After that, I think... You know what? I think it goes Mortal Kombat and then Wing Commander, because Raiden said something about throwing the orb into space, so that's probably the next one, and it probably ends on Savage Dragon. Or this could have been the end. I don't know. No, we can't... I don't know. I'm completely confused now. I'm going to say that it ends on Savage Dragon.
Okay. What would you give this one?
I'll give it a 3. It was decently animated. It was different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was different. It wasn't your standard, Bison plot or your standard Sagat plot or any of that. Like I said, I'm giving 2 ratings. I gotta give Chun-Li 4.5 for the dress, just simply because we don't really ever see her in other than her Street Fighter uniform. And I'll give it a 3.5 for the rest of the episode. Oh, no. Okay. We're just going to skip over this, folks. Unless you have some major notes, I'm going to read the plot, and then we're just going to skip over this. The Beast Within. Blanca searches the jungle for a mysterious healing plant that could revert him back to his normal form. Guile and Lucinda go to track him down and hear the same story of the plant from the jungle natives. Blanca then encounters a wild jungle boy who swears revenge against the natives for killing his family. The boy is actually an alien who crash-landed on Earth along with his family. Blanca befriends the boy. Along with Guile and Lucinda, they defeat the evil natives, and the boy returns to his home planet.
That is the most convoluted thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, okay, first of all, this is essentially the Jungle Book in space.
It kind of is, yeah.
Please tell me you did not see a little bit of Mowgli in that kid. I mean, come on.
and then the boy died on his way back to his home planet.
I mean, the only thing... I watched this episode, not a few hours before we recorded this. The only thing I wrote down was boring Blanca episode. Episode is boring. I mean...
it repeats the same resolution from the Rose episode, making that episode even more worthless.
Yep.
It's like, I thought we resolved this already.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Now I'm even more at peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Episode 24. Second to none. Ryu is a legend in Shadaloo, and Sakura is his most adamant admirer, but when Sagat patrols the streets regularly, making sure to burn down any building with posters of Ryu in it, Sakura leaps to action. She has gone to New York to go see her idol, who had just been visiting Ken in the hospital, as Ken did swallow some bugs and water while fighting Ryu earlier. So there's this whole plot in this episode where they're trying to stop some weapons smugglers or something, and I guess some petroleum jelly or some nuclear waste, or I don't even know what.
Stop that the illegal transportation of Vaseline.
Yeah, yeah. Q Stone Temple Pilots.
No.
May you rest in peace, Scott Weiland. But I mean, that's essentially what this episode is. She convinces Ryu to come to Shadaloo along with Guile to defeat Sagat once more. Sagat welcomes the challenge, and he and Ryu have another epic confrontation. Okay. First of all, I understand animation back in the day was not, especially in the 90s, it wasn't, like when they do flashbacks, they pretty much skimp.
Mm.
They don't make the characters younger. Because she specifically says, when you were my age, you fought Sagat. They do a flashback. Ryu looks exactly like he looks in the current present day.
Right.
He doesn't look younger. He doesn't have business in the front, party in the back. He doesn't have a mullet. There's no character differentiation.
The thing is, we already have a young character model for him because it was in another episode.
Oh God.
Why do you suck, Street Fighter, the series?
Yeah, it just... I do like seeing more of Ken and Ryu's origins. Obviously, this is more leaned heavily towards Ryu, which is almost kind of refreshing for this one. I liked it. For having a kid sidekick in an episode, it wasn't as bad as... It's kind of sad, folks, when Street Fighter has better kid sidekicks than He-Man.
Oh, God.
Cousin Jeremy, that's all I'm going to say. What would you give this one?
I'll give it a 3. I like Sakura. She's kind of a jokey character, but she's also cool because she's like young. She's like a young version of Ryu. She kind of idolizes him, and that's directly from the game too. And they actually animated her pretty good. They didn't pronounce her name right, but that's okay. I don't pronounce a lot of the other characters' names right. Ryu, obviously wrong, but yeah, I like the character and I like the episode.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. I really dug the episode. I thought it was good. And again, anytime we can see a spotlight on Ryu, because I mean, we throughout the series we've seen Ryu-centric episodes, but like they're either dealing with his sister or the other episode was the origin story of how he and Ken first came to be. So it's nice seeing him on his own kind of thing. And then we get the final fight crossover.
See, there's a lot of final fight in Street Fighter. There's Rolento, there's Sodom, there's Guy and Cody. There are a lot of characters that have migrated over to Street Fighter from Final Fight. Like Final Fight was originally supposed to be the sequel to Street Fighter 1 before they really kind of figured out what a fighting game was and made Street Fighter 2. So there is that connection. But this was so bad.
The plot of the episode is based on the arcade game with the same title. The new mayor of Metro City, Mike Hagar, finds himself in a tough situation when his daughter, Jessica, is kidnapped by a ruthless street gang known as the Mad Gear. I'm sorry, that's one of the worst street gang names I've ever heard. So it's up to Ryu and Ken to save her, along with Jessica's boyfriend, Cody, and fellow friend, Guy. Escher, Guile, and Hagar devise a plan to put Ken and Ryu undercover to infiltrate the gang and discover the whereabouts of Jessica. But Cody takes exception to this as he constantly screams at everyone in protest, nearly jeopardizing the entire plan. The four fighters encounter the Mad Gear gang's leader, Belger, from within the group's headquarters. An intense fight soon happens. Ryu and Ken, along with Cody and Guy, are able to fight against Belger and his minions, and in the end, the quartet defeats Belger and saves Jessica from the imminent danger, while Hagar himself enters the situation at the very end by breaking the door down. Oh my God. I probably need to go back and look at the credits to see who voiced Cody, because, wow. All as I kept thinking was, it's not a tumor.
Oh my God.
Get to the chopper.
It's kind of like a cross between Stallone and Schwarzenegger. He kind of had like a speech impediment too. He's like, you hurt my Jessica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, this episode. This episode. Final Fight should have just stayed its own series, and oh man, can you imagine if Street Fighter, Final Fight, Mortal Kombat, and Narc teamed up?
Oh God.
Oh
We've had
God.
enough Street Fighter crossovers. They've gone with Tekken and King of Fighters and oh,
Street Fighter versus Capcom, and
the Marvel universe.
did they do Marvel versus Street
They
Fighter?
did
or-
Marvel versus Capcom, which was basically
Oh, that's
X-Men
okay.
versus Street Fighter, Marvel superheroes versus Street Fighter.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Jeez. But this episode, I mean, Cody really ruins the whole thing. I mean, he really does. Jessica's kind of hot, though. It's one thing I'll give the animators. They, sure know how to draw her. Oh, God. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
Well, it's a cool world.
Yeah. No carrot cake for Roger. I'm gonna give this one. What am I gonna give this one? I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
I'll give it
I just, and honestly, that's only for Jessica. What about you?
I'll give it a 1. Ken kind of looked like a cat person. That's really all I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's
yeah.
up with him? He looks like a cat.
If only there was a '90s version of Chitara, he could date her.
Oh, she could beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, May 14th, 1997, episode 26. Cammy, tell me true. Oh my God. Bison captures Delta Red in a brief battle, and the British government are adamant about getting them back, as they know critical government secrets. Bison compiles doomsday codes, which are the launch protocols for every known nuclear bomb on the entire planet, and plans to not take over the world, but to destroy it. Guile and Chun-Li are given a package from Sagat containing the secret of Cammy's past. As Sagat does not want the world destroyed by Bison, they infiltrate Bison's base, and everyone, including a reformed Cammy, Sagat, and Delta Red team up to stop Bison and destroy his computer console. With 1 second left on the doomsday timer, Bison dies when he is consumed by the computer. Afterward, Cammy rejects Kyle's offer to return to the team, opting to go on her own path. Okay, first of all, it never said 1 second. That timer never said 1 second, because the only reason why I know this, that it didn't, is because when Guile first hit it, he did something to it where it started counting down by twos. It was counting down, 20, 19, 18. When he hit it, it went from 18 to 16, 16 to... So it started counting down the even numbers. So there's no way in hell that timer ever got to number 1. I did not see it hit the digit 1. So,
Well, it's kind of cool that Sagat turned against Bison. I never really liked the idea that he was aligned with Bison. He always seemed like kind of like an independent who was just there at the end of the game because he was the boss of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. It just goes to show that just because Sagat is a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Okay, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes. I think we quoted that already, but I had to.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Zangief showed up in the first season, I think I threw it in one of the episodes.
Yeah. Plus, once Bison got the idea to just destroy the world, of course that makes sense that all his underlings would be like, "What the fuck? No."
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, we want to get rich. We want to be,
we're in this for the money.
Yeah. Exactly.
You get paid.
Oh God, I can just see it now. Sagat yelling at Bison, "Show me the money!" God, that's a role Tom Cruise could never pull off. All right. Part 3 of the Cammy saga. Lies, damn lies. uh, oh damn. So basically, as we already said, Bison dies. He gets destroyed. Cammy strikes out on her own. "Quote unquote happy ending?" Question mark. I don't know. Like, I mean, this series really couldn't have had a more screwed up ending because it's not even a cliffhanger. It's not even a will they won't they kind of thing at all. It just ends.
Right.
I mean, Doug over at Talking About My Generation, we just recorded the episode for that show for it's this year is the 29th anniversary of the release of When the Jetsons Met the Flintstones.
Oh my god.
And that movie just, if you didn't originally see it on television because it was first run syndication made for TV movie, if you didn't see it on any television station where the TV stations have bumpers in and bumpers out, the movie just ends. There's no, like, it just ends with the Jetsons waving at the Flintstones. There's no closing music. It just stops. And that's kind of what this does. It sees Cammy walking off away from Guile, and nothing.
Yeah, I think again it's one of those where they kind of left it open for a resolution if they got another season, but that wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't gonna happen. Thank God.
No.
Oh, by the way, this had the best Bison quote of any episode. He says, "What is it with you women complaining about your fathers being murdered? I killed my father too. You don't hear me whining about it." Oh God.
Yeah, that's one thing this show did. As I said this in one of the other episodes already. It wasn't one side or the other for, the sexism in the show. It was pretty much sexist to both sides because there were plenty of, you look at Satin Hammer and she hates men and all that, and then you look at Bison and whatever else, but yeah, I'm gonna give the series finale a 2. It's I don't know.
It had its moments. I'll give it a 2 as well.
Yeah, it had its moments, but just some of them I just wish there was a better resolution than what we actually had. All right, so since this is a fairly short podcast episode, since we only did 6, this had the same amount of seasons as Mortal Kombat and Darkstalkers. Street Fighter sadly has suffered from predominantly negative reception. 411 Mania, what I assume is some website somewhere, included the series in a 2010 feature titled "The 8 Worst Street Fighter Franchise Failures," on the grounds that the animation was sub-Captain Planet, and the story was contrived, and the dialogue was wretched. Oh boy. It did get a home media release, which is interesting. ADV Films released the complete series on Region 1 DVD. The first set, Street Fighter Code of Honor, was released back in 2003. It contains all the Season 1 episodes, while the second set, Street Fighter Soul Powers, released in May of 2003, contains all the Season 2 episodes. Both of the DVD sets are now out of print.
Probably because ADV Films is out of print.
Yeah.
Apparently, this must have been while they were hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, apparently Discotech Media will re-release the TV series in 2015, last year, as a 25th anniversary collector's set of games, which will include Blu-ray disc of the entire TV series, was released in North America on September 18th of 2012. So, I don't understand why anyone would want this in their DVD collection. This
Probably just for the WTF factor.
Yeah, maybe.
You're just such a Street Fighter fan that you need this.
Or if you're, a fighting game completionist. I mean, in general,
if you really need Street Fighter media, there's the Raul Julia movie, and then there's Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which is really the only two you need. Nothing else.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just... you go back and you look at the Raul Julia movie, and wow, he really, it's talk about a not a really far stretch. You turn Gomez Adams into M. Bison. That's pretty epic.
That movie was a gift from him. He just chewed that scenery and had such a good time making that.
Yep, absolutely.
He made that movie better than it could have been. Than it should have been, I should say.
Yeah, that's true. And then you got JCVD in there as Guile.
Yeah, who I don't think realized that it was a parody movie.
He was taken serious, was he?
I think he thought this was a legit role, and everyone else knew it was a joke.
Oh, poor John Claude. Oh boy. Yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for us, folks, for this week. That concludes the Street Fighter era of the show. Up next, we're going to be doing Darkstalkers, which, again, I'm going to have to do a lot of research on. I'm going to have to find some playable demos online or something or other.
Yeah, I would hit up YouTube and then check out some of the old horror films, like the Universal Monsters and the Hammer films. Really, all you have to do is watch some Lugosi films. What's his name? Lon Chaney Jr., stuff like that. And you'll basically get the idea, because it's just ripping off the Universal Monsters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. What do you got coming up? Anything you want to promote?
Not at the moment. I'm kind of working on getting back into my routine here. But, just the usual stuff, DeCN.com. I usually blog little things on there, like, opinions on movies and stuff. So even if I've got no comics going, I'm usually talking about something.
Cool. All right, thank you for joining us here on Pixels and the Animation. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on this and all of our other episode posts. Email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio is the network Twitter. Mine is TF2 and Mike. What is your Twitter?
P. Lynn Bailey.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out DeCN Comic over there and Neil's Classic Gaming as well. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation. I wish you'll join us next time when we will be reviewing the first 7 episodes from Darkstalkers Season 1. Those being Out of the Dark, Donovan's Bane, Pyramid Power. Wait, is there going to be a Gold Ranger in that episode?
No, but there's a mummy.
Oh, Lord. The game...
It's all about the game.
Where's Triple H when you really need him?
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, and the walls come tumbling down. Jeez, where's oh God.
Is there a pun on every single one of these?
Yeah, probably. Ghost Hunter. I don't know if that could be a pun, but
wasn't there a song? I don't know.
And then apparently we're gonna have Little Bigfoot's Last Stand. So Bigfoot from Power Team, he's become little, and God, I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Maybe it's Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines.
That would be interesting.
They should get Gravedigger for this show.
God. For now, I am TF2 and Mike.
TV's Mr. Neil.
Tune in next time and help us find the pixels in the animation.
Chun-Li, I should have known you'd be able to hold the fort despite the odds.
It looks like you've been working out some major frustrations here. Maybe you, need a boyfriend.
I already have one. Hope to meet him someday.
Security! Security, what's happening up there? Security, please respond!
Right, you put your hat. What? No one's there.
I knew it'd be a gas getting back at my old alma mater, MI5. Back when they were building this great bloody hole in the ground, I warned them. Don't put the whole air filtration system on a single set of controls. It'll be too vulnerable to terrorists. But would they listen? No. They said, you're too young to advise us. Now look where it's gotten them. Their most hidden installation penetrated by a daring young operative who's gone over to the other side. Their most secret files tapped into, duplicated, and soon to be delivered into the hands of their most hated foe, M. Bison, who will use the data to bring down the government of Great Britain. Pity for them that no one believed me about the weakness of this installation.
I believed you, Cammy. That's why I made a beeline here as soon as I heard you were back in England.
Celia!
Sorry for firing without warning, but since you zapped me during our last encounter, it seemed only proper to return the favor. Nice thing about a laser shot, it won't bleed. But it will leave a rather large scar, which I can tell you from experience will ache fiercely in the cold and damp of London. But you'll have ample time to suffer the sensation in your jail cell.
That's your problem, Celia. You always think the job's done. Too soon.